Everyone, and welcome to today's Healthy Hearts session. My name is Dr. Hiba Osei-Kwesi, and I'll be hosting today's session. Now, today we have an interesting topic. We're going to talk about our cooking methods, African and Caribbean cooking methods, and its implications on health. Now, why did we choose this topic today? A lot of us who have been joining these sessions have over the past few months learned about, the Eat Well Guide. We understand the need to have a variety of meals. And then through our intervention, the 6-month intervention that we had, we also understand the need to have the right portion sizes. So most of us are doing well when it comes to, varying our diets and then how much we should be having for a healthy diet. But is that enough for us to have a healthy life? We do know from research that cooking methods do have an impact on the meal, the nutrient content of the meal, which also has an impact on our health. So today we have our very own registered nutritionist, Sylvia, who usually does the cooking sessions for us, to take us through what the evidence says on cooking methods, how should we cook in order to retain the nutrients, in order to avoid, the negative consequences of the unhealthy cooking practice. Wherever you are joining us today, social media, Facebook, YouTube, please drop in your questions as always, and we would do well to address them for you. Today we have, instead of 1 hour, we have about 45 minutes. So Sylvia will be talking for about 30 to 35 minutes. So we use the rest of the time for discussions. So Sylvia, if you are ready, please.
Yes,
do have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hiba. Okay, I'm just going to quickly share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Hiba. So hello everyone. My name is Sylvia, and I'm sure you're used to seeing me on the cooking demo, but just like Dr. Hiba has said, today is a different day. We're going to be talking about cooking practices today, because just once again, like she had said, when we talk about eating healthy or having to live a healthy lifestyle, the first thing that we get to think of is, oh, am I eating veggies? Am I eating the right type of food? Am I eating it in the right portion? But we never really pay attention to the methods we use to cook our food. So just before I dive in, let's just have a quick chat to break the ice and everything. So how exactly do you cook your food? I want to hear from people. Like, for example, how do you make your meat? How do you cook your chicken at home? Do you prefer it fried? Do you prefer it grilled? Or do you just like plain boiled chicken? I know everyone has their preferences. So I want to know, what's your preference? What do you prefer when cooking certain types of food? And why do you prefer it that way? So can I get people talking and answering?
Whilst we're waiting for people to volunteer, so I like to grill, but my children prefer it fried.
Okay, so why do you prefer grilling? Like, is it the taste, or because you're a nutritionist and you are aware? Why exactly do you prefer grilling?
Well, maybe it's the nutrition background number one. I think so. Yeah, maybe that's it. So just decided we just learn. Yes, Ngozi has her hand up. Please let's get the audience to talk. Ngozi.
Okay, Ngozi.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I like for my chicken, I grill it all the time. I mean, in the past, before I'm like 20 years ago, I used to fry it. Well, that's a long time ago, but I grilled it now. And yeah, most things I cook, I grill them. I don't fry.
Okay, that's fine. Do we have more people? I've heard people say, "Oh, I rather fry because they like the taste of frying." Or I've had people who have been grilling for a long time, and then all of a sudden they say, "Oh, let me just fry this once. I've missed fried chicken. I like the taste of fried chicken or something." Do we have people like that? What do we think? Also, aside from chicken, when you cook things like potatoes or yam and things like that, do you throw away the water? Do you discard the water, or do you use the water for something else? Or even with your meat stock, do you discard the water or do you use it for something else? Yes,
Hey, Ngozi, please go ahead.
All right, thanks again. Yeah, so for me, growing up and how we learn to cook, you cannot cook anything else without your meat stock. You have to save your meat stock for your jollof rice, for your soups. And if you don't use it, then that means the food is going to be tasteless. So I always use my meat stock, always.
Yeah.
I hope it's, anyway, you tell us later if it's good or bad. Let me not say anything. I hope it's good. Fingers crossed. Thank you.
Okay, no problem. So let's just go through it. So
okay, so then let me also come in. You asked about yam. As for yam and plantain, when I cook them, I throw the water away. Any staple that I cook, I throw the water away. So I don't know if that is good or bad. Let me read a few comments for you. So Daniel says, boil first, then oven cook it for chicken. So you boil the chicken and then oven cook it. Then Sarah says, stew curry, because that's why we cook since childhood, and also it's healthy. Lorraine was asking, what about non-meat eaters? So you didn't ask the non-meat eaters. What do you want to know from the non-meat eaters?
yes, anything at all, even your veggies, how to cook the veggies. Yes, so even your vegetables, yeah, I said any food at all, anything.
Okay.
How do you make your veggies?
All right. Whilst waiting for her to respond, I think you can go on. Maybe she might type it in.
Yeah, I can. Sorry, I am
Yes.
here. My
Okay.
screen's just off, but yeah, thank you, Sylvia. I think with vegetables, I normally roast mine. I love roast veg. Yeah, but yeah, I don't tend to fry a lot.
Lots. Okay, that's fine. That's very fine. Okay, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, let's hear what you have.
Yeah, so I'm just going to go through. So, briefly, I'm going to go through cooking. What exactly is cooking and why is it important? Why do we need to cook our food? So, first and foremost, we need to understand that cooking is an act or skill of preparing food. And then we have like three main methods of cooking. So, we have the dry heat cooking method, we have the moist heat cooking method, and we have the combination method. So now when we say the dry heat cooking method, this is cooking food without moisture. So your cooking is either direct heat or indirect heat. Now basically the techniques under the dry heat cooking method, we have boiling, grilling, roasting, and sauteing. For the moist heat cooking method, this has to do with cooking food with liquids, either hot liquid or cold liquid, or cooking the food in its own juice. Now, research has shown that this is basically one of the healthiest methods to cook food because all the nutrients, all the flavors, everything is still locked in the food. Now, for the examples, techniques under the moist heat cooking methods, we have poaching, boiling, steaming, simmering. They're all under the moist heat cooking method. Now, for the combination method, it uses both the dry heat and the moist heat cooking method. So it combines them together. So examples, we have braising, we have stewing. So what happens is that you have to sear your meat, you have to saute your meat a bit before you stew it. And just like I said, moist heat comes in, so everything is locked in, all the nutrients are locked in. Now, there's something about the dry heat cooking method that happens when you cook food with direct heat. So the amino acid in the food tends to react. It will react with the sugar also in the food. We call that the Maillard reaction. Now, that is what gives the food that browning effect. It also gives it a distinctive aroma and taste. For example, a very simple example is your toasted bread. You know, when you smell the smell anyway, when you smell that aroma, you will definitely know that that is toast bread. So it's because of that browning effect that it gives that aroma, that gets that aroma. Now, also importance of cooking, it reduces neural activity. Now, imagine if you don't have to cook your food to be soft and you have to eat yam raw or you have to eat plantain raw. You're going to have to take a lot of time to chew that food because you're trying to break it down in order to release the nutrients. Now, and you're going to be using a lot of energy to do that. Now, but then with cooking, it reduces that activity. So the food is softer and it's easier for you to chew and digest. Also, cooking eliminates harmful bacteria. So in our food, there are bacteria that are in or around the food. What cooking does is that it eliminates that bacteria, preventing us from food poisoning. Okay, so irrespective of the fact that cooking has its benefits, certain methods and the way we prepare food has a way of impacting the nutritional value, of affecting the nutritional value of the food, and also help putting us at risk, putting our health at risk. So let's run through a few. So meat and poultry, just like I earlier said, how I asked everybody how we cook our meat and poultry and things like that. So now let's talk about meat and poultry. Now, with meat and poultry, when you cook your meat, there's a significant loss of vitamin B complex during the cooking of meat. Now, this depends on the cooking temperature. So what happens is that if you're going to use the dry method, like I said, direct or indirect heat to cook your meat, you're going to lose vitamins, you're going to lose vitamin B. If you notice, I don't know, I'm very sure a lot of us that like cooking will notice this. When you're in the kitchen and you boil meat, if you notice that after boiling it, the meat tends to shrink. I'm sure a lot, I can't see everyone now, but I'm sure that a lot of people are aware of that. The meat tends to shrink. So what happens is that the heat denatures the protein in that meat, and it will melt away and turn into gelatin and release all the juice from the meat. Now that juice that is being released contains the fat soluble vitamins in the meat. It also contains iron and thiamine. So imagine if you were using dry heat method, one of the dry heat techniques to cook your food, probably you were grilling, all that juice is just going to drain away and seep away, and that is it, nutrients lost. But if you were stewing or if you were braising, the juice and everything will still be retained in that particular food that you're preparing. Now, with fish, fatty fish is a rich source of vitamin A and D, and surprisingly, is heat stable. It's also a rich source of omega-3 fatty acids. So basically, what this means is that when you're cooking food, you really won't be bothered about, am I going to lose nutrients? Am I not going to lose nutrients? The only time you will tend to lose nutrients with food is when you cook that food, when you prepare that food with an added fat. So when you added extra fat, probably your sauteing salmon and you add in butter, or you add in coconut oil or something. When you add in an extra fat, that is when you will lose the fat soluble vitamins in fish. Now, what you need to pay attention when cooking fish is the high mercury content. But apparently, no matter how long or no matter how much you cook the fish, it will not remove the mercury content. So instead, research has advised that you should eat at least 2 to 3 meals in a week that include fish. So this will help reduce your mercury intake, better for consumption. Now, for plant foods have high amounts of minerals and vitamins, and hence a lot of them are lost because some of them they are heat liable, they are water soluble, and they can also be sensitive to alkaline solutions. If you notice, when you, for example, your green vegetables, spinach, basically, when you cook your spinach for a long time, most times it loses color. So most green vegetables tend to lose color when you cook them for a long time. So that's why when we do the cooking demo, if you notice, I always kick against having to overcook your vegetables. Always put your vegetables in last. Aside from green vegetables and all of that getting losing nutrients, your grains, you also lose nutrients when you boil your grains. So that's rice, your pasta, and your wheat. Just like Dr. Hiba said earlier, that when she boils her yam or things like that, or pasta, she discards the water. It's the same thing to when you boil your rice, and then some of us discard the water. When we boil our pasta, we discard the water. But come to think of it, has anyone ever paid attention to the way, if because I think it's kind of like an African way. I think it's basically the way we grew up. You boil rice, you wash water and throw it away. But let's come to this other side of the country. There are pasta dishes that tell you that when you boil your pasta, use the water for the sauce. So you see recipes that tell you to use the water you used to boil the pasta for the sauce. I'm not sure they actually know what they're doing. I'm not sure. Most of them might, some of them might not. But from the nutritional angle, they're literally just taking that nutrient that has come out from the pasta and putting it back into the stew. Okay, so also vitamins. Water-soluble vitamins, which is vitamin C and the B group vitamins, can be affected by heat, acid, and any other cooking method. Now, this is irrespective of any type of food you're cooking. It doesn't matter what type of food you're cooking. You are definitely going to lose vitamin C and vitamin B. Now, what happens is that they leach into the cooking liquid and they degrade based on the amount of heat applied. Another thing we need to pay attention to is the temperature we use to cook, the amount of the temperature and the time. Different techniques and different cooking methods have different temperatures and different times. Also, fat-soluble vitamins leach into fats if consumed excessively. Sorry, they leach into fats, and if we consume this excessively, they are stored in our body as fat deposits, which over time will become dangerous. Okay, so here I have a picture of different techniques in cooking. Here we have flambe technique, we have the stir fry technique, or also sauteing, which is used with just very little oil. We have regular frying with little oil. Then we have boiling, baking, toast. This is steaming. Here they use a steamer. So for steaming, you can either use a steamer, you can use your pot. And this is stewing. It's mainly for tough cuts of beef or meat, any type of meat at all, but tougher cuts. This is barbecue. Now for barbecue, we're coming from the African side, we use it mainly for our suya, kebabs, grilled corn, roasted corns, basically for street foods. And then we have poaching. We also have roasting. That roasting is almost similar to, it's still dry heat, but it's done in the oven. So that's like an indirect heat. Then we have baking. Baking and roasting is similar, just that roasting is for meats and vegetables, and then baking is more for pastries. And this is also steaming. So now what happens when we boil or simmer? How much nutrients do we lose? Now, boiling and simmering is almost the same thing, just that boiling is at a higher temperature of about 212 degrees Celsius, and simmering is at a lower temperature of about 180 degrees. So for both of them, what happens is that during boiling, it both depends on how long it lasts, how long you boil for, how long you simmer your food for. And also vitamin C and B vitamins are leached. But you can ensure that your vitamin B is intact if you reduce the temperature to about 100 degrees. So probably you start off at about 212 and then you turn it down to about 100. That can help your vitamin B to still be intact. So the only thing you're losing is vitamin C. Now for blanching, it is short and minimal nutrients are lost. Now, blanching is the process where you take food and you just dip it into boiling water, hot water that has already been boiled, and immediately you take that and put it in cold water to stop the cooking process. Now that is a very short time, so there's no time for nutrients to be lost in that space. So minimal nutrients are lost when we blanch our foods. This is usually done with vegetables, mainly vegetables though. For steaming, now research has showed that steaming is one of the healthiest cooking techniques. This is because when we steam, it retains all the nutrients, the color, and the flavor. Everything remains intact. Now, when you're steaming, the food doesn't come in contact with any liquid at all. It doesn't also come in contact with each other. It's just on its own. It's being steamed on its own. For example, from Africa, we have what we call moi moi in Nigeria. That's like steamed bean puddings and things like that. Now, the only issue most people have with steaming is the fact that you can not add flavor while cooking it. So while steaming, the steaming helps bring out the natural flavor of the food. You can't add flavor to it while it's cooking. Poaching is almost similar to boiling and simmering. The only difference is that acids are usually added to the water that you're going to use to poach, and this affects sensitive vitamins such as vitamin K. Now for braising, just like I had earlier explained, the beef is seared for a while, for about a minute, and then it's transferred into a pot to cook properly. Now, vitamin C is lost. Vitamin C will be lost during braising, but other nutrients such as calcium and essential trace minerals are not affected because everything is going to be reduced. So when you braise, braising is almost the same thing. It's similar with stewing. It's the same thing, just that for stewing, you don't sear the meat before you stew it. So all the nutrients, everything is being retained and is reduced. The sauce will be reduced. Okay, now we have roasting. Roasting is under the dry heat method, and just like I earlier said, it's done in the oven with direct heat, which allows it to cook evenly, allows everything to cook evenly. Now your vitamin C is lost to B complex, vitamin A and E are destroyed, but all the minerals remain intact when we roast our food. So you can either roast your meat, poultry, your fish, your vegetables, any food at all can be roasted in the oven. Sauteing, once again, the cooking time is short. If you pay attention, if you notice, you'll see that some of the cooking techniques or methods that is short, the amount of nutrients lost is very small, is minimal. So once again, for sauteing, cooking time is short and fewer nutrients is lost. Baking. Now with baking, it's very tricky because the ingredients you use to bake can either break or make that dish. You can either make it healthy or you can either make it unhealthy. So as much as you want to bake, you have to pay attention to the ingredients you use, because baking is very effective in the sense that it reduces the nutrients that it's a way of avoiding nutrients being lost, but heat liable nutrients will still be lost. And then because baked goods tend to be dry, we might probably lose water soluble vitamins and fat soluble vitamins. Like I said, that's why you also need to pay attention to the ingredients you're going to use if you're going to bake. Grilling and broiling. Now, this also limits nutrient degradation, but it causes heat liable vitamins to be lost. The fat is drained, thereby reducing content of fat soluble vitamins. Remember how I explained with the meat juices and all the fat soluble vitamins being drained. So that also happens with grilling and with broiling. Now, pressure cooking, most people cook with pressure pots. Leaching is reduced when you're cooking with pressure pots. Now, this is because the temperature is increased, and once again, it's short. It cooks very fast. It's a short time, but heat liable vitamins will also be lost when you use your pressure cooker. So aside from cooking techniques and methods impacting the nutritional value of food, they also have an effect on our health. So the first one, overcooking. What happens when we overcook our food? So for roasting or grilling, when we roast or we grill starchy foods at a high temperature for a very long period, it releases a chemical known as acrylamide. Now, acrylamide is used in industries to produce dyes and plastics. And just like I earlier said, it can also be released from food when we cook at a high temperature. Now, how do you know that your food has released this chemical compound? When you grill any food that's starchy, for example, back in Africa, we have quite popular street food. We have grilled yams or grilled plantain, we call it bole or roasted yam. You see that it's brown. You see that it's turning brown and it's looking burnt. It's not burnt, but it's already looking burnt. Then at that point, you know that, okay, acrylamide has been released and this particular food is contaminated. And studies also suspect that this compound has the potential of cancer. It can lead to a high risk of cancer. Aside from overcooking, kitchen fumes. If we look back from where we come from, most of our kitchens are not well ventilated. So depending on the community, a lot of people tend to cook inside their homes with kitchen stoves or with firewood, and then they tend to use kitchen fuels which are not healthy, for example, wood wastes and things like that. And now this will build up smoke in that particular area, and over time it will start to affect our health. Studies have also shown that this kitchen fumes is responsible for about 3.8 million deaths every year in Africa. Now, aside from the fumes from the cooking equipment, there's also fumes from cooking oil. Now, the fumes from cooking oil, which I will explain later on, contain aldehyde, which increases our risk of lung cancer. Also, meat. The way we cook our meat. I know if I've heard a couple of people say randomly just say, "Oh no, I can't eat red meat." Why can't you eat red meat? Because it's cancerous. Why do you think it's cancerous? And they just say because someone has probably told them so, but nobody has actually explained it why exactly it is cancerous. So it's the way it's being cooked that makes it cancerous or that releases carcinogenic properties. So now when you cook your meat on high temperature, once again, barbecuing, grilling, we need to understand that that is when we say high temperature, it has to do with dry heat method. Now, heterocyclic amines is being produced when we cook our meat on high temperature, especially with charred marks. Now, if you have it's summer, so everybody has their barbecue out and everybody's grilling burger patties and things like that, and you see a burger patty or you see a grilled corn or any grilled food at all with char marks. Char marks are kind of like the dark lines on the food when you grill. Now, once you see that marks, you should know that heterocyclic amines have been released. You can actually, and people say, oh, if there are no char marks on your food when you grill, it's not cooked, it's not done. No, that's totally wrong. You can actually grill your food, grill your meat or whatever food you want to grill without having char marks. In order to do that, you need to constantly be flipping. You need to constantly flip the food and let it cook on both sides to avoid having charred marks. Also, aside from that, when the juice from the meat, especially the meat now, when the juice from the meat comes out, when it is being released, it will drip into the flame to create what we call polyaromatic carbons. Now, polyaromatic carbons are formed, and this will envelope the food. It will cover the food. This is also a carcinogenic property and can lead to an increased risk of cancer. Let's go to cooking oils. Now, a lot of us cook with oils or because of economic situations, we tend to reuse oils. We tend to use oils over and over and over again and things like that. Yes, it's quite understandable, but then if you're going to do that at least once or twice. Just once will be fine. Now, the thing with cooking oils is that certain cooking methods can cause oil to undergo chemical reactions. Now, RCO, meaning repeated continuous use of oil, is harmful and it can lead to cancer in peripheral organs such as lung, can have lung cancer or prostate cancer. Now, what happens is that vegetable oil deteriorates and loses its nutritive benefits when it's exposed to extreme heat, air, and moisture. Now, you can see that the term extreme heat is in bold because it usually happens when we deep fry. Now, most times we put a pan on the stove, put some oil in it, and then we leave it and we say we want it to get hot. If it's not smoking, if smoke doesn't come out, you say it's not hot. No, that's totally wrong. At that point, the chemical reaction is already taking place. Once you see that your oil is already smoking, don't use it again because that reaction is already occurring. Now, this reaction releases products like the polyaromatic hydrocarbons, which increase the risk of cancer via DNA mutation. So what happens is that polyaromatic, that carcinogenic compound, will attack the enzyme that is supposed to catalyze the reaction for cell regulations in our body. Now, once those cells can't regulate, it will mutate and it will lead to cancer. It will form cancer cells instead. So we need to be very careful when using oil. But another thing we need to know is that not all type of oils undergo this change. For example, olive oil. So olive oil doesn't undergo this reaction. A lot of there are myths actually. So now this is me debunking the myth that olive oil undergoes the reaction. No, olive oil doesn't undergo this reaction, although it shouldn't be used in industrial cooking, because over time it has a low smoke point, but over time it will still generate this reaction, but at the first instant it will not. So you can use your olive oil for deep frying, you can use your olive oil for shallow frying too. Okay, so just before I round up, just before I leave, I'm going to leave a few cooking tips and tricks. Always cook your vegetables till tender and not mushy. Always ensure that you cook your vegetables till it's a bit firm and not mushy. Opt for healthier choices of oil. Like I said, olive oil, rapeseed oil, basically unsaturated oils. Olive oil, rapeseed oils, avocado oil. Avocado oil is a very good choice of oil. Do not allow your oil start smoking or burn. Now, aside from that, if you use your oil once to fry something and you realize that it already looks burnt, it has this blackish outlook or face, don't use it again. Get a fresh oil. When grilling now, so with grilling, I know I've hammered so much on grilling, so a lot of people will say, oh, I probably shouldn't grill again, or I probably shouldn't eat suya again and things like that. No. So when grilling, if you want to grill, you should wrap whatever food you're grilling. If it's your kebabs, if you're grilling meat and kebabs, you should also wrap that. If it's your vegetables, for people who are vegetarians, your vegetables, your meat, always wrap it with foil paper. This will avoid the juice from seeping through. And then also, when grilling fish, avoid fish that do not have healthy fats, such as tilapia. So you rather stick with salmon and things like that, fish that contain healthy fats, or avoid grilling fishes like tilapia. Also, use more of a healthier cooking option like steaming. Yes, no cooking method is perfect. In every cooking method, nutrients are lost, but try as much as possible to stick to like the healthier ones, as that will help, either steaming or braising or stewing, any of them. Always add raw fruits and vegetables to your daily meals. Now, from what we've discussed so far, you can see that vitamin C is always lost, vitamin C is always lost. Now, how do we now ensure that we get enough dose of the vitamin C we're supposed to take daily if I'm eating and now you're telling me that vitamin C is always lost? Always ensure that you add raw fruits and veggies to your daily meals. So you can either add that in as a snack or as salads. Now, use up any liquid that you have used in boiling. If you're making pasta and sauce, you can use the liquid you've used to boil the pasta to make the sauce. If you're making rice, you can use that same liquid, a bit of that liquid to boil the rice. If you've boiled your meat and you have leftover stock, you can use that. If you don't want to use that immediately, freeze it and just keep it to whenever you're ready to use that. So always try as much as possible to use up the liquid. I remember when I was growing up and I watched my mom pound yam. When she pounds the yam, she tends to take a bit of the water from the water she had used to boil the yam. So I never fully truly understood. Like I just thought, oh, she was just softening it up or something like that. But now I understand that those are like nutrients that she probably still wanted to have in the pounded yam. So same thing happens when you make your banku and things like that. Always try as much as possible to use up the liquid. If you don't want to use the liquid, then put very little water so that when the water is reduced, all the nutrients will still be locked in back into the food. Now, like I said this before, when grilling, flip more often to avoid black char lines. You can grill and still eat healthy. It doesn't have to have the black char lines. So flip often to avoid the black char lines. Always remember that you are what you eat. Whatever choice you make, whatever cooking technique or cooking method you decide to stick with, you decide to pick, always remember that you are what you eat. And also always go for for fresh produce. Always use fresh produce. If you're steaming, if you're simmering, always use fresh vegetables and fresh fruits. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, Sylvia. That was really good. That was really, really, really good. Thank you so much. I see some people clapping for you. I'm sitting here thinking, oh gosh, what is she talking about? Acrylamide, cyclic amides. Like, Sylvia, should we stop cooking? Because anyway, let's give people the chance. We still have some minutes. Yes, we have 10 minutes. Do people want to unmute themselves to ask questions, comments before we read some of the stuff in the chat box? Whoever wants to go first, please unmute yourself. I'm sure people have questions. Anybody wants to go first? Wants to unmute? Go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
All I want to say is that I've been cooking completely wrong all these years. I'm a woman in my 60s. I've brought up 3 children and I've been doing it all wrong.
Oh, you muted. You muted again. Sorry, Norma.
So
Okay,
this is a complete education for me, and I'm grateful, really, really grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I will cook different. Mind you, my husband does most of the cooking, but I'll teach him.
Please do teach him. Thank you, Norma.
Bless you. Thank you.
Yeah, Sylvia, that was really insightful. I was sitting here because that thing about olive oil, and even though I'm a researcher, I've never really bothered to check. People say don't use olive oil for deep frying, and I don't know the evidence behind that. So it's really good that we have these sessions where we bring to you evidence-based information, because there's a lot of misinformation online. There's too much misinformation online. So thank you so much, Sylvia. That was really insightful. Yes, sorry, but your hand is up. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, Sylvia, I even became scared after listening to what Sylvia was saying. It looked like I'm poisoning myself and the people in the house. You cook with the oil, when it's left, you put it there, you come and cook again over and over for like 1 month.
Yes, I know.
Yeah, I hope the slides will be shared.
It will be with CAHN. CAHN will get a slice, and she's going to do a summary for us as well. As for that cooking with oil, we all do it. We are all guilty.
Yes, exactly. And then because of the economy, so you just think, I can't throw the oil away and buy a fresh one. I'll just reuse it and things like that.
So you are saying we should only cook with it once or twice? Can we do twice?
There's something I even do.
I wanted to ask about the olive oil again. I didn't hear exactly what you said about that, because I also used to have an argument with my mom on that. She's like, you shouldn't cook the olive oil when you do your vegetables, just pour it raw. And then I was like, but I mean, it's olive oil, so yes, I can use it to fry an egg. And she's like, no. So I just want a clarity on that again. Thank you.
Also, it's advisable to also use it more as dressings. Like, so when you have your salads, just drizzle fresh olive oil on it, and that's all. But then that's the thing. So if you want to fry, olive oil is best used to fry, because it has its smoke limit, its smoke points, because every type of oil has its own different smoke points. Its smoke point is very low, so it's going to take a long time before it starts smoking. And just like I said, it's when the oil starts smoking, that's when those chemicals, reactions, everything, that's when it's being released. So because you're using that, you can leave it on the pan for a while before you put in what you want to put in. It's going to take a long time before it starts smoking, so that will save you.
So, is your question answered? Okay, now.
I still didn't get it. So it means that even though you can use it as salad dressing, we can use it to fry as well.
Yes, that's what she's saying.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. But what about the number of times, like Dr. Like how many times can we use the oil, reuse it? Sorry, before we can.
People who are trying to.
I think once is fine. Once is actually fine, because you've heated. So I was going to say something that, how when you put a pan on the fire, and let's say you have a bowl of chicken or a bowl of yam to fry, you put in the first batch, you fry. You will take it out and leave the pan there. Now, while that pan is there, it's heating. Chemical reactions are occurring step to step, stage by stage. You've left it there. Before you know, you take the next pan. And if you notice, whenever you're frying, the second batch will always burn faster than that first batch has cooked. That's because the oil is already really hot. So what you need to do, a trick, something that I do, once I fry that first batch, before I put in the second batch, I always take the pan off the heat and allow it to cool down for a bit. And then you bring it back to the heat. So yeah, to answer your question, just once is very fine. So you
And I
use it
think,
the first time, use it the second time, and then that's it.
and I think it's because we're always trying to, we talk about the economic situation. So we shouldn't have it like a lot in the pan, just a little to do that frying. So that the next day, you shouldn't be frying every day anyway, but within the week, if you want to fry again, it's not too painful that you're throwing the oil away. Okay, Alex, please go ahead. Unmute yourself.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yes.
I have. Right. So Alex is my husband. I'm using my husband's phone. Never
fine.
mind. And these days, Alex can be a boy and a girl.
I know, right?
But my name is Mandy.
Mandy. Okay.
Right. So obviously, Sylvia is from West Africa. I'm from Southern Africa. So sometimes some of our foods we have yam, but we don't use yam as a staple food. We use yam as a snack. Yeah, so it's usually boiled or roasted, but through wood fire or charcoal, right? Yeah, but mostly it's just as a snack, not as a staple food. But what I wanted to I would have liked as well. So in Southern Africa, we know that you lose nutrients through cooking. So what we do is we enhance, especially vegetables. So we use like pumpkin leaves, beans, kidney beans leaf. We use that, and various, vegetable leaves and so on. So for example, we would add groundnut flour, right, to the vegetables. That enhances it, because sometimes we also use soda, bicarbonate of soda. And I know that because like okra, we have that slimy, it becomes slimy. I don't know whether you've seen it. Yeah. So we use bicarbonate of soda for it to go through that process of it breaking down. In a way, it breaks down. And some of the vegetables, like pumpkin leaf vegetable, we use also soda. And it's soda, bicarbonate soda is not very good because it kills the vitamins. So to counteract that, mostly, or even cassava leaves as well, we then add groundnut flour. So I had wanted to say, I would have loved to say, how can you enhance either vegetables or some of the foods we eat where we lose the natural occurring nutrients? Yeah.
I got that. True. Also, because I read about that in some cultures that they use bicarbonate of soda, so especially with vegetables, when the vegetables tend to lose color. So in order to preserve the nutrients, because most times when your vegetables lose color, just know that it's the nutrients that have left. So it's bicarbonate of soda, and what that does is that it makes it worse, because the nutrients that are still there, the nutrients that are sensitive to alkaline solutions will also. So the thing about cooking is the time. You need to pay attention to the time and the temperature. Yes, so it has to be the time and temperature. So you can still cook your vegetables the normal way, but cook it for a short time. So using short techniques such as steaming, you're either steaming or you're blanching. Those are really healthy techniques that will still retain all the nutrients, and it's very short.
Yeah.
So that my advice basically is pick a technique that is short. Use a technique that is short to cook your vegetables. Either you do blanching, either you're sauteing, or either you're steaming it.
But my question was, what other ways can you enhance or improve the nutrient content of your food?
Yes, so whatever you do, vitamin C will always still be lost. A bit of the vitamin C will still be lost.
Okay.
So that was why one of my tips at the end of the session, at the end of the presentation, was that always try as much as possible to include raw fruits and vegetables. So have raw salads. You can either have that as a snack or as a main meal or appetizer or something. Always
yeah, I see now. Yeah, I get you now. Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much, Sylvie.
Thank you, Mandy, for that question. Unfortunately, instead of 1 hour today, we had to do 45 minutes because there's another program coming after our exercise session. There's a number of questions in the chat box. We won't be able to address this, but please, Elizabeth CAHN, if you can just record these for us. Sylvia is going to answer all these questions and we are going to share it. So CAHN will have it, but we are going to address all of these questions. It's just unfortunate we can't go through everything today, only because there's another program after this session, and we really apologize for this. Now, on this note, I'd like to say a big thank you to Sylvia. Sylvia, today's session has really been insightful. I was sitting here as a nutritionist also saying, oh my God, when you talk about temperature, I never check the temperature when I'm grilling or doing anything like that. We all should do better, because the consequences of not cooking right is really, really, as she explained, carcinogenic compounds, these things are avoidable, they are preventable. So let us try and do the right thing. There's no wrong time to learn. I mean, Norma said she's been doing something for so many years, but it doesn't matter. We can all change at some point. We can start to make these changes right from today. On this note, again, I'd like to say thank you, Sylvia. We want to have you again. I think we might have to do part 2 of this cooking session. Clearly, Norma is doing this. We really have to
please. Yes, please.
It
was very.
We have to come back for you
to ask questions about microwave cooking or using.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance. Okay.
Please.
I'm definitely going to organize another cooking session. You will come back for us to continue. Yes, clearly there's a need for more of these talks. So Sylvia will come back.
That would be lovely.
Sometime next month. I'll let you know in advance so we can continue this conversation. So on this note, I'd like to hand it over to Orlando. Yes, so we can continue our lifestyle, physical activity. Please stay on, don't go away. Cooking is not enough. You need to stay active as well. So thank you, everyone. And I hope to see you again next Tuesday for another insightful nutrition and lifestyle session. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Can you spotlight me?
Yep, Orlando, you're spotlighted whenever you're ready to start.
Oh, okay, I can't see anybody. Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to the fitness aspect of Healthy Hearts. And thank you for joining us 15 minutes earlier than usual. That's appreciated. So thank you, Dr. Hibbert and Sylvia, for that amazing talk on African and Caribbean foods, cooking, and the health implications. I hope everyone found it very insightful and useful. All right, so like I said, we're in the fitness aspect of today's session. So today we've got a boxer size session coming your way. All you'll need today is plenty of water, a mat, and plenty of space. All right, so like we always do, we're gonna start off with a warm up. Let's get that heart racing. Let's break a sweat before we get into the ring. So let me turn these tunes up. So everybody find the space and let's get ready to roll. So everybody, we're gonna start off with a 30-second shadow skip. If you have a skipping rope and the space, you can bring that in. If not, we're gonna shadow skip. All right, get ready, people. Get ready, we're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Let's shadow skip, let's go. Keep it nice and light. Let's get that heart rate up. Go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go into straight. So we got 1, 2. Let's go. 2, reset. People. Yeah. That's it, people. Stay on them toes. That's the light, still warm up. Keep that going, my people. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, give yourself 15 seconds. Take a quick sip of water. Ten seconds, people, and then we're going to go straight back into that warm-up. All right, my people, back to your spaces. Let's continue this warm-up, okay? So heart rate should look slightly. Let's raise it up even more now. All right, so we're going to start off with up, and then change arms. Up. All right, get your brain full up. Okay, 30 seconds coming up. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Up. That's it, people. Keep going. Keep that going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Back to your shuttle champion. Keep that going, people. Okay, if you can, go on to one leg. If not, stay on 2. Change legs. Back to 2. Three, 2, 1. Last one now. So in our gap, push from the back foot. 2 steps forward, jab, cross, up. Using that front leg, 2 steps back. All right, let's go, people. 3, 2, 1. Last one. That's it, people. Get that timing, get that sequence. Keep that going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And time, people. Back to your corners. Quick water break.
Your woman wants some more, nigga.
15 seconds, my people, and then we're back in the ring. Okay, listening, people. So first round, we've got a combo round. All right, working on looking fancy, snapping those punches out there and putting some combinations together. All right, so we've got a 3-minute round. For your first minute, it's nice and easy. We're gonna go jab, cross, but I want you to put your full body into the punch. So if you've been with us for a few weeks now, remember boxing is not just about the arms, playing the arms. Boxing comes from the ground up. Okay, so the power comes from the ground up. So in your guard, I really want you to, bam, snap that jab out there. turn, snap that cross out there. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and hard. Use that full body. All right. So just 4 punches to start. Jab, cross, jab, cross. Remember, 2 or 3 combos in the same place, and then use your whole floor. Get a different look. 1, 2, 3, 4. Use that whole floor, okay? All right, let's get busy, people. First round now. First round now. Time to get sweaty now. Let's go. So to your spaces, get ready. We're going in 3, 2. Oh, let's go. Show me something. Keep going, people. Halfway, keep throwing them punches. Use that whole body from the ground up. Seconds. Last 10. 3, 2, 1. Okay, let's add to it now. So after that last cross, we're gonna add 10 uppercuts for speed. So here, nice and strong. 1, 2, 3, 4. From there, starting with that left, 10. Nice and quick. Let's go, second minute. 3, 2, 1. Put it together, let's go. Let's go, people. 20 seconds done. Jab, cross, jab, cross. 10 uppercuts for speed. Over halfway. Keep that going, people. Last 20 seconds. 10 seconds. We can make an earthquake up in here. So here we go, 3, 2, 1. Okay, listen in for your final minute before we get rest. After that last uppercut, we've got 10 straights for speed. So watch the whole thing. Power, speed, speed. All right, last minute, people. Let's get busy now. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. Last minute before a break. Let's go. Come on, people. Come on. 20 seconds gone. Let's go, people. Come on. Halfway. Last 20 seconds. Last 15 people. Last 10. Come on, people. Finish strong. 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the bell right there, people. Back to your corners. We've got 30-second water break. Well done. Seconds, people. Okay, back to your spaces, people. One round down. Second round coming up now. Okay, so now we've got a cardio round. All right, cardio conditioning round. All right, so combo will stay the same throughout the round. Watch me in your guard. Right hand did you here? Left hand did you here? Remember, I'm a mirror image. So combo will stay the same for 30 seconds. We're gonna go here. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut for 2. Watch again. Jab, cross, hook, uppercut for 2. And here we're going to utilize the whole living room now. All right, so at the end of that, we've got 30 seconds. We're going to jog. So I'm going to jog my lane here, my living room, jog, and then we're going to slide back nice and low. All right, so jog. If you've got a big living room, it's going to be tougher for you. All right, so jog forward, slide back for 30 seconds. And then we go back into the combo. All right, let's go cardio and conditioning round now. Let's go. Let's get sweaty now even more. Let's go. So start with your combo in 3, 2, 1. Start with that combo. Usual 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Take off now. Run a slide. Let's go. Keep going, people. 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Straight back to your combo. Let's go. Let's go, people. 10 seconds. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Hit the lane. Let's go. Good, people. 10 seconds. 2, 1. Last minute. Straight back to your combo. Seconds, people. 3, 2, 1. Last 30 seconds. Hit the lane. Let's go. Seconds. Come on. 10. 3, 2, 1. Time. Welcome, people. Water break back to your corners. Just round that one. Ten seconds, people. Okay, we're back in, people. We're back in. So next round, we're working on those tree stumps, those legs, the body parts that carry us around all day. All right, so this is going to be equally hard for me today because I had a tough squat session last night and my legs are in bits, but we're going to push it out there. We're going to leave it on the floor today. All right, so it's a pyramid round. All right, so we're going to go. We'll start off in our combo, in our round here. So there, uppercut, cross. Watch again. Jab, cross, uppercut, cross. All right, you do that one time and you'll multiply the squats. All right, so we've got 2 squats after that. So 2 squats. If you can go deep, go deep. If that's you there, that's fine. If you go there, that's better. All right, from there, we're going to do the combo twice. So here, bam, 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 that's 1, bam, 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 bam. And then from there, we'll do 4 squats. All right, then we'll do the combo 3 times, 6 squats, 4 times, 8 squats, 5 times, 10 squats. And then we start back at 1. It's pretty good maths. Yeah. Okay, so 1, 2, 2, 4, 3, 6, 4, 8, 5, 10. And then we'll keep going through the cycle throughout the round. All right, let's work on those legs now. Let's get those legs burning, my people. Get yourself ready. So start with the combo 1, combo 2 squats in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Jump, cross, overcook, cross, 2 squats. Now 2 of the combo now. Cross. 4 squats. Woo. Now burn. Now 3 combos now. 1, 2. Remember, go at your pace, people. Go at your own pace. 6 squats. 4 combos now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 squats. Let's go, people. 5 now for me. 5. Let's go. 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 squats for me. Let's go, people. Keep working that. Once you've gone to 10, back to 1. We're over halfway now, people. Keep going. Last minute, people. Keep working. Hey. People, keep going, people. 30 seconds. Last 15, come on. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. That side, people, back to your corners. We're going to finish with a half round. We'll finish off with a 90-second conditioning round. And we'll cool down and stretch off. Earlier finish today because of the earlier start. So 5 minutes, or let's say 90 seconds of a bit of pain. And then we got the rest. We're gonna stretch out, cool down, stretch out. Okay, people listening. So we've got cardio and conditioning round to finish. Half round, remember. So here, we're gonna go. Punches above the head, making that heart pump the blood up, making that heart work hard, all right? Punching up here, 30 seconds there. Then we've got single power hooks. So we're gonna go here, bang, everything into it, everything into it, everything into it, 30 seconds. And then from there, we've got speed uppercuts. That's your last 30 seconds. All right, so we're going here, 1, 2s. Nice and strong, strong shoulders. Here, 1s, power hooks, 1, 1, 1. And then here, speed to finish. All right, last 90 seconds, people. Let's get busy now, come on. Last 90 seconds. Let's tunes up. All right, people, get busy here to finish. Let's start with the punches above the head in 3, 2, 1. Give me 30 seconds, let's go. Come on, people. Halfway, keep it going. Right above the head, we're going diagonal there. Really stretch those shoulders. 4, 3, 2, 1. Single hooks, let's go. Really load up. Load up. Remember, turn that foot towards the punch. Go. 10 seconds. There we go. 3, 2, 1. Speed almost to finish. Roll them shoulders. Let's go. Let's go, people. Halfway. Come on. 10 seconds. Come on. 3, 2, 1. Last time, people. Well done. Okay. Grab yourself a quick 15-second water break, and then we'll cool down and stretch off. Well done. Okay, people, back to your spaces. Let's calm that body down now. So I'm going to start off with alternate high knees, okay, right in front of me. Let's go. Okay, let's go across the body. So turn that pivot foot. There. Turn that pivot foot. Okay, next one, squat and reach. Let's go. Palms on the floor, touch high to the ceiling. Okay, next side to side. Ooh, some nice clicking going on in my neck. Ear to shoulder. Oh, big click. Yeah. Okay, hands on the waist, big circles. Reverse it. My body's making all sorts of noises. Front to back. Okay, last couple stretches, legs together. Try and touch your toes or the floor. Remember, you can do these stretches in your own time. Up to a minute long is fine. Just make sure you hold nice and strong at the point of where it feels uncomfortable. All right, don't rock. So stay nice and still and let that muscle stretch. Up nice and slow. Last one. Knees together. Bring your heel to your bum. Hold onto something if you have bad balance like me. Change legs. Three, 2, 1. Shake it all off, people. Make sure it still works. And that's time, my people. Well done. What a session. Well done. Who we got in the house? We got Elizabeth. We got Daniel. Who's in the house?
Hi, Orlando. Oh, that is Elizabeth. Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you, Orlando, for that.
Yes,
for that
Daniel.
session.
Yeah.
If anyone wants to put in the chat box how they find the session, I took part in it myself, and I think I'm getting better at pivoting because that was my where I was struggling. Yeah, so Orlando, do you want to tell us what you have planned for next week?
Yeah, so we have 2 more weeks of boxercise, and then we're going to go into circuit training with a bit of a twist. All right. So 2 more weeks of learning new combos, working full body, getting a nice sweat on, and then we're going to go into circuits, super circuits.
Thank you for that, Orlando. Also, we also have another session straight after this if you want to join. We'll be learning about bowels, something along that line. I never had sessions that at 7:30. I think I'm pretty sure Elizabeth will give us more information on that. And as always, we always have this session every Tuesday from 6 to 7:30. Today we just have to cut it short because of half hour. But yeah, Elizabeth, I'll pass it to you for any final things that I missed.
Thank you for that, Daniel, and thank you again, Orlando and Dr. Hiba and Sylvia for today's Healthy Heart session. Like my colleague Daniel's rightfully mentioned, we will be doing our CATIP Health Hour at least once a month, and today we are pleasure to have that this evening from 7:30 till 8:30. And I believe this week's session will be focused, will be focused on irritable bowel syndrome and bowel cancer. So feel free to join. That will be, I believe, Daniel, if you can please post the Zoom details in the chat box. Feel free to encourage your family, your friends, your colleagues to join the session. So that will be once every Tuesday, once Tuesday in a month as well. So feel free to join that as well. And I believe Dr. Brand Orlando has mentioned we'll be back again next week, Tuesday, for our Healthy Hearts, which is from 6 o'clock to 7:30 every week. So please do tune in. Please do take part as much as you can. To access this evening's session, you can go back on our YouTube and our Facebook page and watch the session and share that as well with your family and friends. If you need any support throughout the week, our counseling service on helpline is available to access that as well. So feel free to share that as well with your family and friends as well. So we look forward to seeing you all again this evening for our CATIP Health Hour. My colleague has just put the Zoom details in the chat box. For those of you joined on YouTube and Facebook, the session will also be streamed, so you can also take part and join in the session as well. We all hope you have a lovely evening and look forward to seeing you all at some of our future sessions. Bye for now.
Well done, people. Bye.